Some trucks disappear from service lots after a few seasons. Others stay in circulation for decades, changing hands from one fleet to another, one crew to the next. The difference isn't always about what's newest or what came with the best warranty. It's about what actually works when the clock is running. Today, we're looking at 10 trucks that fleets keep buying used, not because they're perfect, but because they've proven something harder to quantify. They show up. Number 10. Ford F-150. America's workhorse by default. The Ford F-150 wasn't engineered to be a fleet vehicle. It was built to be America's truck, sold to contractors and weekend warriors, landscapers and ranchers. Yet when fleet managers started combing auction lots for reliable half-tons, they kept arriving at the same conclusion: the F-150 worked. Fleets gravitate towards specific generations. The 2011 through 2014 models are particularly valued. They represent the sweet spot after Ford resolved the catastrophic spark plug issues that plagued the 2004-2008 Triton engines. But before the aluminum body transition that made some fleet managers nervous about repair costs, the 2011 model introduced the 3.5-liter EcoBoost V6, which delivered the torque of a V8 with better fuel economy. The engineering that makes these trucks attractive to fleets isn't exotic. The 5.0-liter Coyote V8 is a straightforward, naturally aspirated engine that mechanics can diagnose without specialized software. The frame is fully boxed, the suspension uses conventional components, and parts availability is universal. But there's a cost to this ubiquity. Transmissions in the 2015-2017 models have higher failure rates than expected. The 2016 and 2017 trucks experience transmission shuddering and premature failure, issues significant enough that many fleet operators skip those years entirely. The human side of the F-150's fleet appeal is equally important. Drivers don't need training. The controls are intuitive, the sight lines are clear, and the cab is large enough that workers spending 8 hours inside don't feel punished. What fleets have learned is that F-150 reliability isn't absolute. It's contextual. Certain years hold up better than others, certain engines prove more durable, and certain configurations last longer under abuse. The F-150's legacy in the used fleet market is this: it isn't the most reliable truck ever built, but it's reliable enough, available enough, and affordable enough that fleets can build entire operations around it. Number 9. Chevrolet CK1500 and Silverado 1500. The underappreciated alternative, the Chevrolet CPK 1500 and its successor, the Silverado, occupy a different position in the fleet hierarchy. They're the trucks fleets buy when they've learned to be skeptical. The GMT 100 platform 1999 to 2006 is where Chevrolet's reputation as a fleet truck solidified. These Silverados were simpler than their Ford counterparts. Pushrod V8 engines, conventional body, on-frame construction, and interiors designed for function rather than comfort. The 5.3-liter Vortec V8 became the default engine for fleet buyers. When properly maintained, these engines routinely exceeded 200,000 miles. But the Silverado's fleet appeal wasn't about longevity alone. It was about predictability. The GMT 800 trucks had fewer electronic systems than contemporary F-150s, which meant fewer points of failure. For fleets operating in remote areas or with limited maintenance budgets, that consistency mattered more than horsepower figures. The second-generation Silverado 2007 Tutti Vertier introduced complications. The active fuel management system caused premature lifter failure, oil consumption, and check engine lights that plagued early GMT 900 trucks. Fleet managers learned to either disable the system or avoid those model years entirely. By the late GMT 900 generation, 2011-2014, Chevrolet had refined the issues. The 2012 model year, in particular, earned strong marks from J.D. Power and developed a reputation for comfortable rides and solid crashworthiness. The human element of Silverado ownership is more utilitarian than the F-150 experience. The seats are flatter, the ride is stiffer, and the cab noise is louder. But for crews who view trucks as tools rather than transportation, those compromises don't register. The challenge with Silverados in the used fleet market is inconsistency. While certain years are bulletproof, others, particularly 2014 and 2019, are plagued by issues ranging from faulty transmissions to malfunctioning air conditioning systems. What Chevrolet offers fleets is this: a truck that doesn't promise luxury or cutting-edge technology, but delivers functional reliability when you buy the right years and maintain them properly. Number 8. Dodge Ram 1500. The comfort gamble, the Ram 1500 has always been the third option in the Detroit half-ton hierarchy. Fleets that chose Ram over Ford or Chevrolet, typically did so for three reasons: pricing, ride quality, or specific powertrain needs. Ram's decision to use coil, spring rear suspension instead of traditional leaf springs, introduced in 2009, fundamentally changed how the truck behaved. The ride was smoother, more car-like, which made it better for crews who spent all day driving between job sites. For service-focused fleets, that comfort translated directly to reduced driver fatigue. The fourth-generation Ram 1500's 2009 to 2018 is where fleet buyers focused their attention. The 2014 and 2015 model years are often cited as the most reliable. These trucks introduced the 3.0-liter EcoDiesel V6, which offered fuel economy in the mid-20s mpg combined. The 5.7-liter AMI V8 remained the workhorse option, delivering 395 horsepower. But Ram reliability isn't uniform. The 2003 model suffered from dashboard cracking so severe it became structural. The mid-2010s trucks dealt with power steering failures, sometimes at highway speeds, and fuel system problems ranging from corroded tank straps to inaccurate fuel level sensors. These were safety risks that kept certain model years off fleet shopping lists entirely. Transmission reliability has been inconsistent. The older 4.5 RFE and 65 RFE transmissions had mixed reputations. The 8-speed ZF transmission, introduced in 2013, improved reliability but brought its own early teething issues. The reality for fleets running Rams is that these trucks require more attention to model year selection. A 2017 or 2018 Ram 1500 can deliver 200,000 miles of dependable service. A 2015 or 2016 might not make it past 100,000 without significant repairs. Where Ram trucks succeed is in specific roles. For HVAC companies, plumbers, and electricians who prioritize interior comfort and moderate payloads over maximum towing capacity, the Ram offers a compelling package. Number 7 Ford F-250 Super Duty Maximum Capability, Maximum Consequence. Heavy-duty trucks operate under different rules. The Ford F-250 Super Duty was never designed for comfort or fuel economy. It was built to move weight, trailers full of equipment, pallets of materials, loads that would break a half-ton truck's frame. Fleets buying used F-250s are looking for brute capability that hasn't been destroyed by its first owner. The used fleet market focuses on trucks from the 2011-2020 generation after Ford introduced the 6.7-liter Power-Stroke diesel. By 2015, the engine was producing 440 horsepower and 860 pound-feet of torque, numbers that allowed properly equipped F-250s to tow well over 15,000 pounds. But the F-250 isn't without its demons. The death wobble, violent front, and shaking at highway speeds has plagued multiple generations, particularly the 2017-2019 models. The problem stems from worn suspension components, loose bolts, or poor alignment. Some owners spent thousands replacing parts, only to have the wobble return. RepairPal ranks the F-250 Super Duty near the bottom of full-size trucks for reliability, with an average annual repair cost of $4,241, significantly higher than the category average. When repairs are needed, they're more likely to be severe. What separates successful F-250 fleet operations from failed ones is maintenance discipline. These trucks demand oil changes every 5,000 miles, transmission service every 50,000 miles, and immediate attention to any unusual noises. Deferred maintenance can turn a 300 repair into a 5,000 engine rebuild. The human experience of running an F-250 in fleet service is unforgiving. The ride is harsh, the cab noise is significant, and fuel economy hovers in the low teens, even with the diesel. But for work that requires maximum capability, there aren't many alternatives. Fleets that succeed with F-250s buy trucks with documented maintenance histories, avoid problematic years, and budget for higher operating costs. Number 6 Chevrolet Silverado 2500 HD. The value-heavy, duty option the Chevrolet Silverado 2500 HD occupies similar territory to the F-250, but with a different character. Where the F-250 leans on diesel power and maximum towing capacity, the Silverado 2500 HD offers more flexibility in powertrain choices and typically costs less on the used market. Fleets buying these trucks are often looking for the same heavy-duty capability as the Super Duty, but with less upfront investment. The GMT 900 generation 2007 to 2014 is where many fleet buyers focus. These trucks use the Duramax 6.6-liter diesel and Allison 1000 transmission combination, which developed a strong reputation for reliability in commercial service. The Allison, in particular, earned loyalty from fleet managers who appreciated its durability under constant load. The Duramax diesel offered competitive power figures, 397 horsepower and 765 pound-feet of torque in later iterations, and the engine proved capable of exceeding 300,000 miles when maintained properly. Unlike some Ford diesel engines that suffered from catastrophic failures, the Duramax earned a reputation for predictable wear patterns that mechanics could anticipate and address. But the Silverado 2500 HD has its own set of compromises. The diesel exhaust fluid systems, introduced with emissions regulations, added complexity and failure points. Diesel particulate filter regeneration cycles became a maintenance concern, particularly for trucks used primarily for short trips. Fuel injector problems plagued some model years, and the cost of diesel-specific repairs ran higher than gasoline-equivalent work. The transition to the K2XX platform, 2015 Line Dean, brought updated styling and improved interiors, but early model years experienced issues with transmission behavior and electrical gremlins. Fleet managers learned that the sweet spot for used Silverado 2500 HDs fell in the 2011-2014 range, after the platform had matured but before complexity increased. What the Silverado 2500 HD offers fleets is a lower entry price and slightly better parts availability than some competitors. For municipal operations, small construction companies, and regional service providers working within tighter budgets, those advantages matter. The truck doesn't promise the highest towing numbers or the most refined ride, but it delivers heavy-duty capability at a more accessible price point. The challenge is finding examples that haven't been abused. Heavy-duty trucks attract buyers who need maximum capability, which often means they've been worked hard. A used Silverado 2500 HD with 150,000 miles might have spent those miles towing at capacity, which accelerates wear on drivetrain components, brakes, and suspension. Successful fleet buyers inspect thoroughly, prioritize maintenance records, and budget for the reality that heavy-duty trucks cost more to operate. The Silverado 2500 at HD rewards that diligence with years of productive service at a lower total cost than its Ford equivalent. Number 5. Toyota Tacoma. Paying more to worry less. The Toyota Tacoma represents a completely different fleet strategy. While American manufacturers dominate the full-size truck market, the Tacoma carved out a niche among fleets that needed smaller trucks for urban work, tight job sites, or operations where maneuverability mattered more than maximum payload. The second-generation Tacoma 2005-2015 became the go-to mid-size truck for fleet buyers who valued Toyota's reputation for durability. These trucks weren't powerful by American standards. The 4.0-liter V6 produced 236 horsepower, but they were nearly indestructible. Fleet managers reported Tacomas regularly exceeding 300,000 miles with minimal major repairs. The Tacoma's fleet appeal came from its simplicity. The drivetrain was straightforward, the electronics were minimal, and the truck didn't try to be more than it was. For delivery services, utility companies, and light construction work, that was enough. The engineering philosophy behind the Tacoma differed fundamentally from domestic trucks. Where American manufacturers chased power figures and towing capacity, Toyota optimized for longevity and predictability. The result was a truck that felt underpowered compared to a Silverado, but outlasted it by 100,000 miles. Frame rust became the Achilles heel of early Tacomas, particularly in rust belt states where road salt accelerated corrosion. Toyota issued recalls and frame replacement programs for affected trucks, but the issue kept some fleet managers away from pre-2010 models entirely. For fleets operating in dry climates, this concern didn't register. The downside was capability. Tacomas towed less, hauled less, and cost more per pound of payload than domestic competitors. A used Tacoma commanded higher prices than a comparable Silverado or F-150, and parts weren't as universally available. Fleets that chose Tacomas did so despite these limitations, betting that lower maintenance costs and higher resale values would offset the capability gap. For urban delivery fleets, municipal parking enforcement, and businesses operating in tight spaces, the Tacoma's smaller footprint became an advantage. The truck could navigate residential streets, fit in parking garages, and maneuver through congested areas where full-size trucks struggle. What the Tacoma proved is that fleet truck decisions aren't always about maximum capability. Sometimes paying more upfront to worry less long-term is the smarter calculation. Number 4. Nissan Hardbody D21. The immortal budget option. The Nissan Hardbody D21 is the truck that refuses to die. Produced from 1986 to 1997, the D21, commonly called the Hardbody, should have disappeared from fleet service decades ago. But these simple, lightweight trucks keep showing up in municipal yards, small business fleets, and agricultural operations where their survival defies conventional logic. The D21's appeal is almost absurdly basic. It's a truck that starts, runs, and hauls moderate loads without complaint. The 3.0-liter V6 produced just 153 horsepower, barely adequate even by 1990s standards. The four-cylinder models are borderline dangerously slow, struggling to merge onto highways with any kind of load. But neither engine requires sophisticated diagnostics or expensive parts. A competent mechanic can keep a hardbody running with basic tools and determination. Build quality on these trucks was inconsistent. Rust attacked the body panels with enthusiasm, particularly around the wheel wells and bed. The interiors were Spartan even when new, and decades of use haven't improved them. But the mechanical components, the engine, transmission, and drivetrain, proved remarkably durable when basic maintenance was performed. Fleets that still run hardbodies typically use them for rolls where newer trucks are overkill, parts delivery between facilities, facility maintenance work, or situations where theft or damage risk makes expensive equipment impractical. A 30-year-old hardbody worth $2,000 is easier to justify as a loss than a $25,000 Tacoma. The labor market also plays a role. Older workers who learn to drive on manual transmissions and trucks without power steering feel comfortable in hardbodies. Younger workers often refuse to operate them, viewing them as relics rather than tools. What the hardbody represents in the fleet world is the extreme end of the cost-benefit calculation. These trucks offer minimal capability, minimal comfort, and minimal sophistication, but they also require minimal investment and deliver years of basic service. For certain operations, that's exactly what's needed. Number 3. Ford E-Series. The workshop on wheels. The Ford E-Series represents a different category entirely. Cargo vans that function as mobile workshops and have become indispensable to the trades. The E-Series, particularly models from the 2008 to 2014 era, before Ford transitioned to the Transit, remain ubiquitous in trade service fleets. Electricians, plumbers, and HVAC technicians built entire businesses around these vans, customizing them with shelving, tool storage, and equipment mounts that turned generic cargo space into organized workstations. The E-Series used body-on-frame construction, which made it easier to modify than unibody vans and allowed for heavy-duty suspension upgrades. The powertrains were straightforward, primarily the 5.4-liter Triton V8 or the 6.8-liter V10 for heavier loads. Neither engine won awards for fuel economy, and both had their share of issues, but mechanics understood them, and parts were universally available. What made the E-Series a fleet staple was its cargo capacity and upfit flexibility. A contractor could purchase a base van and customize it exactly to their needs, adding ladder racks, auxiliary lighting, generators, or specialized equipment mounts. The van became a mobile business, arriving at job sites with everything needed to complete work without returning to the shop. The human experience of working from an E-Series is utilitarian at best. The driver's seat sits high and exposed. The ride is truck-like rather than car-like, and the cabin noise is substantial. But for tradespeople who spend more time in the cargo area than behind the wheel, those compromises are acceptable. Fuel economy is where the E-Series punishes fleet budgets. The V8 models average 12-14 mpg in mixed driving, and the V10 drinks even more. For fleets running multiple vans, covering significant daily mileage, that consumption adds up. Some operators started migrating to the Transit for better fuel economy, but many kept E-Series vans in service because the upfit investments were too significant to abandon. The used E-Series market is driven by condition rather than year. A well-maintained 2010 model with documented service records is more valuable than a neglected 2014. Fleets buying used pay close attention to maintenance history, particularly transmission service and rear differential condition, which wear under constant load. Number 2. Chevrolet Express 3500s. The E-Series alternative, the Chevrolet Express 3500s serve the same purpose as the E-Series with similar durability and nearly identical fleet appeal. Built on the GMT 610 platform from 2003 through today, the Express used traditional V8 engines, primarily the 6.0-liter Vortec and rear-wheel drive. The extended wheelbase models offered maximum cargo capacity, while the shorter configurations provided better maneuverability in urban environments. Where the Express Express differentiated itself was in pricing and parts availability through Chevrolet's dealer network. Some fleet managers found better support through GM dealers, while others preferred Ford. The actual capability differences were minimal. Both vans carried similar payloads, accepted similar upfits, and delivered similar fuel economy. The Express 3500's reputation in fleet service mirrored the E-Series: loud, uncomfortable, and fuel inefficient, but capable of holding tools, protecting equipment from weather, and working long after their odometers rolled past 6 figures. Transmission rebuilds and rear differential service became expected maintenance items rather than failures. These vans don't offer modern conveniences. There's no sophisticated infotainment, the seats aren't designed for all-day comfort, and the handling feels exactly like what it is, a truck with a box on the back. But they serve a purpose that newer, more sophisticated vans struggle to match. They're simple enough that any mechanic can work on them, tough enough to handle abuse, and cheap enough on the used market that small businesses can afford to build fleets around them. Number 1. International 4700 Purpose. Built durability. The International 4700 is the outlier on this list, a medium-duty commercial truck rather than a pickup, operating in a category where different rules apply. Fleets that buy used 4700s are typically running specialized operations, tow truck services, utility companies, municipalities, or businesses that need a truck capable of handling commercial equipment that would overwhelm even heavy-duty pickups. These trucks use diesel engines, air brakes, and chassis designed for constant commercial use rather than occasional hauling. The 4700 was built on International's Class 4-6 platform, with gross vehicle weight ratings ranging from 14,000 to 33,000 pounds depending on configuration. The trucks used International's own diesel engines, or Caterpillar power plants, paired with Allison automatic transmissions that could handle sustained commercial duty cycles. What made the 4700 valuable in fleet service was its adaptability. The chassis could accommodate flatbeds, service bodies, dump beds, crane installations, or specialized equipment like bucket trucks for utility work. The truck was over-engineered for most pickup truck tasks, which translated to durability in commercial service. Components designed to handle 30,000-pound loads didn't strain under lighter work. The trade-off was sophistication. The 4700 drives like a commercial truck because it is one. The ride is harsh, the turning radius is significant, and the driver position feels utilitarian. Fuel economy measures in single digits. Operating costs run higher than pickups, with more expensive tires, more frequent brake service, and diesel-specific maintenance requirements. But for work that genuinely requires a medium-duty truck, heavy towing, commercial equipment transport, or applications where pickup trucks prove inadequate, the 4700 delivered capability that justified its costs. The used market reflects this. Well-maintained examples command strong prices because buyers understand their value in specific applications. The 4700's presence in this list is a reminder that not all fleet truck decisions are about buying the most popular option. Sometimes the right truck is the one purpose built for the work, even if that means stepping outside the conventional pickup truck market entirely. What endurance actually means, what ties these 10 trucks together isn't excellence. It's that they show up. None are perfect. Each has years to avoid and components that fail. But fleets keep buying them because they've learned which years work and which compromises they can tolerate. The used fleet market isn't about finding the best truck. It's about finding the right truck for the work, buying the right years, and maintaining them properly. These trucks stay in circulation because they work and because fleets have learned to make them work. That's a different kind of victory. Quieter, less marketable, but more enduring. Which of these trucks have you seen hold up longest in commercial service? Do you think electric work trucks will change what fleets buy, or will diesel and gasoline dominate the used market for decades to come?